Insistence on a particular outcome is actually a limitation that you're placing upon what could be given to you that might be better than you imagined. But it will definitely sometimes be different than you imagined, because the higher mind might be saying, this has to manifest first. So that we see that if you can learn to use it in a positive way, then you are of using what we are going to be you next type, yes, if you trust God. A super thanks donation will bring health and joy to your family and help us spread my message all over the world. Amen. You have just bought a new DVD blockbuster movie and are eager to watch the movie. There is a beginning of the movie, the ending of your movie, and all that transpired between the beginning and the ending movie. Of the linear time allows you to experience the movie on a moment-by-moment basis, even though the whole DVD already contains everything from the beginning to the end of the movie. Similarly, in your real life, linear time allows you to pretend that you do not yet know the outcome of your life. Your whole life, Tori. There is a based on your current trajectory, rejector. There is a version of your life with a happy ending, and there is a version of your life with an unhappy ending. Your dominant frequency during the journey of your life determines which ending you will experience. If you focus on the version of your life with the ending, that will be your renti. If you're happy, you focus on the version of your life with the happy ending, that will be your reality. A person who truly changes doesn't care whether the outside changes or not, because they know the outside is not a measure of what state of being they choose to be. Type yes if you trust God. A super thanks donation will bring health and joy to your family and help us spread my message all over the world. Amen. You have to not need the outside to change for it to more easily do so, because the measure of change is not whether the outside is changed. The measure of change is whether you respond differently to the outside. Even if it still looks the same, that's how you know you've changed. My old friend Abdullah gave me this exercise. Every day I would sit in my living room where I could not see the telephone in the hall. With my eyes closed, I would assume I was in the chair by the phone. Then I would feel myself back in the living room. This I did over and over again, as one covered the feeling of changing motion. This exercise was very helpful to me. If you try it, you will discover you become very loose with this exercise. Practice the art of motion. And one day you will discover that by the very act of imagining, you are detached from your physical body and placed exactly where you are imagining yourself to be, so much so that you are seen by those who are there. The key is to allow any circumstance in your life that comes up to be neutral, instead of automatically assigning an arbitrary positive or negative meaning to it, and then decide what kind of meaning you wish to assign to it. Because the meaning you assign will determine the effect you attract from it. You supply the meaning, but you've been taught to do so automatically, unconsciously, that you think circumstances automatically have this or that meaning assigned to them. Well, if I see this, it means that. So if it means that, I gotta react that way. Type yes if you trust God. A super thanks donation will bring health and joy to your family and help us spread my message all over the world. Amen. Something feels distasteful, remind yourself. This diversity is here to help me figure out who I am, who wish to be, and how I want to dance with life. It has value. They have value. Then shift to paying attention to what you do like, what you do prefer, what you wish to empower with your focused attention. Dear ones, don't waste your precious life force focusing on the rightness or wrongness of life or anyone in it. Something right for your growth and joy may be completely wrong for another, as surely as one diet is right for you, yet totally inappropriate for another. As surely as one outfit is right for you and your work, and totally inappropriate for another. And as surely as one belief is right for your soul's evolution, and not at all useful to another. Be right for yourselves in this moment, and stop trying to find an absolute right and wrong. Love is the only absolute right. You are allowed to have your preferences. So, give up the discussions of right and wrong. Stop analyzing who you should be in comparison to everyone else. Allow yourselves to have your likes, dislikes, and preferences, and we implore you to allow that to set you free from the bondage of insisting others agree or trying to agree with all others. You are unique, precious, and perfect in this puzzle of life. So is everyone else. God bless you. We love you so very much. There is a short time between lives when you rest and when you take stock of what you have learned and where you are. But true peace is within you now. And if you do not realize it, it is not because peace does not exist. It is because you have closed yourselves off from peace, and joy springs out of peace. Type yes if you trust God. A super thanks donation will bring health and joy to your family and help us spread my message all over the world. Amen. Joy cannot come from unease and dissatisfaction. You will not find peace after this unless you know peace within yourselves now. The kingdom of peace is not on some planet, not 4 blocks down and 3 blocks across, not 1,000,000 light years away, and miraculously will you find it. The kingdom of peace is within each of you now, and if you realize this, then indeed you dwell in peace, and from peace comes your security and confidence and joy. Seth Jane Roberts. The Early Class Sessions. Book, You Have to Agree. A10 match. Someone's frequency in order to experience what they are suggesting you experience. So someone who may have an intention de-interference is simply getting you to believe you can be interfered with. So you're creating the interference in your reality. You're doing it. You chance your fluency. Tandy, they can't affect you. You have to understand the physics of this. You are affecting yourself because you're agreeing with them that they can affect via. So stop agreeing with them. I am a victim. Things happen to me. I am powerless to prevent things from happening to me. I am at the mercy of the universe. If this is your current model, you are still at the unconscious stage. The master of the universe model. I am the master. Nothing happens to me without my consent. Without me, without the vibrations generated by me as a result of my perception, my personal universe does not exist. I am the perceiver that causes each and every atom in my personal universe to rearrange itself to match my Y perceptions, to obey my vibrations, and if this is your model, you have awakened. You are fully conscious. Whichever model you resonate with is the reality you will experience. To see your core self will never see any situation in a disempowering way. When you are able your situation from the eyes of your core self, you will be in alignment with your core self. 100% energy Jai will flow to you, and you will feel good again. You are developing a new habit of seeing through the eyes of your core self. If you to realize that you are not your able personality self, you will always see everything through the eyes of your core self. D in bed and move Nov over. Move through your mind this list of things that you are appreciating, and then go right from there to brushing your teeth and aping whatever you need to do. Immediate meditation and vibrational alignment with well-being, only this time you're not doing it because you are asleep. You are wide awake and tuning yourself to the vibration of who you are. Then get up from your meditation chair and then right to the kitchen and find something that's delicious and refreshing to eat. And so you are eating it, if with an attitude of appreciation, and once you've finished your delicious meal, type yes if you trust God. A super thanks donation will bring health and joy to your family and help us spread my message all over the world. Whatever it might, then sit with your paper and pen and make a list of things you appreciate. Just write things that flow forth from you easily, Ed. Don't the make it a list of things you should appreciate, the things you do appreciate, and this process will put you in the vibrational attitude of alignment with Source. And if you will do this tomorrow, and the next day, 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 before you know it, and certainly within 30 days, of set the tone of seeing the world through the eyes of Source in a way that you have never done before, and then you will not be asking us what it's like to be pure positive energy, because you'll know it viscerally. You'll feel it in every fiber of your being. Surrendering is not the giving up of anything except the things that are not you, and to allow the universe to show you who you were created to be, who you are. Know that you already have what it is you wish to have. and in a state of humble gratitude to thank the infinite for what you already have, and let it be shown to you that you already have it. More positive one. It is only when strong negative patterns are allowed to flow unrestrained and indulged in, so that they become a barrier holding back positive thoughts, that you run into difficulty. You get into a habit and you do not realize that you have done so, where predominantly your thoughts about yourselves and others are all, understand what fear is. You only have one energy. You're 100% that energy. You experience that energy as excitement when you filter that energy through belief systems that are in alignment with your true vibration. You experience the very same energy as fear when you flow it through belief systems that are out of alignment with your true self. That's what fear tells you, is you have a belief that is out of alignment with your true self. That's why you're feeling your energy in the form called fear. It's a messenger that brings your attention to the fact that you have that belief system that you don't prefer. So it gets you to understand that and gives you the impetus to find out what that belief is so that you can let it go, replace it with a new belief that's in alignment with your truth, and transform the same energy that you're feeling as fear into the energy you now feel as excitement. That's how it physically works. That's the mechanism. We want so much for you to understand who you are. That's what you said. Who am I? You're a source energy being in a physical time-space reality with a vibrational part of you that is so huge and calling you. That's who you are. You are liquid love. And when you are not loving, then you are off of who you are. You are happy. And when you are not happy, then you are off of who you are. You are easy. And when you are not easy, then you are off of who you are. You are always receiving. If you don't perceive that, it's because you're blocking the reception with a definition. Let go of the definition, and suddenly you will perceive that you are constantly flooded with information, support, guidance, and help, and love. It's never, ever, ever, ever stopping. Ever. You are existing in a constant sea, a constant flow of guidance, support, energetic love. It never stops. The sensations you refer to as passion, excitement, love, creativity, and inner peace are your physical body's translation of the frequency of your core signature vibration. In other words, your true essential being. Anytime you align with that core frequency through your beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and reinforcing actions, you propel your consciousness through the specific series of frames that produce the space-time experience of living more and more on your preferred version of Earth. You already have everything before you came here. You do not know that all forms of matter are simply thought in 3D dimensions. You do not know that you can use your thought to maintain your alignment with you, or you can use your thought to disconnect from your alignment with you. You do not know that you are a receiving device, similar to a radio or television. When you are in alignment with you have access to infinite intelligence, your core self, and you are able to receive broadcasts from your core self that will give you complete guidance on every aspect of your IFE. You do not know that you came here to play and to have fun. You do not know that you came here to have a vacation. You do not know that you did not come here seeking wholeness. You do not know that you did not come here to fix a broken you. You do not know that you can create the reality you prefer. You do not know that you are already happy, whole, and complete. Yo. You do not know that the universe is a mirror, reflecting your consistent thoughts back to you in. You are yourselves eternal and joyful in your own being. You have periods of depression only because you separate so nicely in yourself those feelings that you will accept as good and holy and true and worthy of you from those other creature feelings that are quite as natural and as real and by themselves will lead you to the spiritual illumination that you want so badly. Loneliness experienced leads you beyond it. Despair experienced leads you beyond it. If you do not accept those feelings, if you are afraid of them as negative, they will never serve you as bridges. Not everything that your five senses are picking up is real, even though you have labeled them reality. Your five senses are not capable of discerning what is true or false. Your five senses' job is to reflect back to you whatever you have manifested as a result of what you have focused on, be it true or false. Your eyes, nose, ears, taste buds, and sense of touch are decoding frequencies through the assistance of your brain into a form you have labeled as solids and liquids. Gaseous not included unless they have an odor. If forms in gaseous state have an odor, your sense of smell will be able to perceive their presence. Each person has an entire body of beliefs and suggestions, and these are quite literally reflected in the physical body itself. All practical healing deals with the insertion of positive suggestions and the removal of negative ones. As we mentioned earlier, each smallest atom or cell contains its own impetus toward growth and value fulfillment. In other words, they are literally implanted with positive suggestions, biologically nurtured. So, to that extent, it is true to say that in a certain fashion, negative suggestions are unnatural, leading away from life's primary goals. Negative suggestions could be compared to static sounding on an otherwise clear program. Tips for staying in the frequency of the positive polarity. Student: Master, can you give me some tips on how to remain in the frequency of the positive polarity under any and all conditions from your experience? Master: do not make anything more important than staying in the frequency of the positive polarity. Once you make something else more important than staying in the frequency of the positive polarity, you have lost the battle. As long as your priority is on staying in the frequency of the positive polarity, you have discovered the secret to staying in the frequency of the positive polarity to mastery. The secret. You become like a radio that continues to receive signals from the nails from the broadcasting tower under any and all what is happening, conditions or not happening. Whenever you are unhappy, the false self has overpowered the musical note of your core self. As you become more aware of the dynamics of what is going on behind the scenes, you are no longer willing to let the false self overpower and dominate your core self over and over again. Your awareness of what is going on will cause you to consciously support your core self. The presence of ally, as you become very good at. Eventually, experience a shift this. You will in your identity. The inner battle will cease, and you will shed your false identity and embrace your true identity. The presence of your inner light and joy will be very evident to everyone who comes into contact with you. You have finally realized who you truly are. Each person has an entire body of beliefs and suggestions, and these are quite literally reflected in the physical body itself. Immediately refuse to worry about the future or the past. Tell yourself you can worry another time if you want to, but for the moment, you will not be concerned about the past or the future. Remind yourself that for all you might have read or heard or deduced earlier, it is certainly not inevitable that all unfortunate situations take the darkest of tones, and that indeed the opposite is true. For if such were the case, the world and all of life would have literally been destroyed through disasters and calamities. Concentrate upon the present moment, but more. Concentrate upon the most pleasant aspects of the present moment. If that moment has distracting, unfavorable aspects, then resolutely bring into your mind whatever images delight or please you at the moment. Good health is closely related, of course, to a family's beliefs about the body. If parents believe that the body is somehow an inferior vehicle for the spirit, or if they simply view the body as unreliable or weak and vulnerable, then children will at an early age begin to consider good health as a rarity and learn to take depression, poor spirits, and bodily aches and pains to be a natural, normal condition of life. If, on the other hand, parents view the body as a healthy, dependable vehicle of expression and feeling, then their children will look at their own bodies in the same fashion. It is very important that parents express a fond affection toward each other and toward their children. In this way, most children are assured of their parents' love and hence need not resort to illness as a way of gaining attention or testing a parent's love and devotion. You will learn that you are a part of the webwork of consciousness. You will learn to be conscience co-creators. You will learn, or you will destroy the planet which you now inhabit. And if you do, your consciousness will begin in another reality. You will learn to recognize within yourselves the joy and the true reality of being. You will learn to distinguish between the reality of joy and pseudo-realities that you have created, or you will begin again. But you will learn. You are indeed as blessed as any God and as gifted. When you learn to honor yourselves, you will be free. And you will create with joy and spontaneity when you recognize that within the leaf of a flower, the consciousness that is within it, and relate it to yourself, and honor it, and treat it as a little brother, you will be free. The winter-summer solstice is happening on the 21st of December. The energy is really powerful since the 12-12 portal, especially with the solar activity happening right now. So much light is flowing into our systems. We are being prepared for powerful change we will go through in the next weeks and months of the new year. Solstice always brings the energy of renewal. We are guided to look at the things that don't work anymore and think of new ways